Okay. There you go. I'm gonna stop it, I think. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Northport Arts Coalition Poets in Port reading, monthly Poets in Port reading. Even before I read about our fabulous Hiram Larew, I am so thankful for all of you for your support with the Poetry Path. It is incredible. I'm very happy. And it's beautiful. So if you get a chance to come to Northport, make sure you get down to the park and take a walk. Yes, we have one of the featured poets here, even Miss Kelly Powell. So I'm excited about that. So we have an official opening on July 14th in the park at 1 o'clock. I know nothing about the coverage yet, but I will let you know as soon as I do. So without further ado, and because I am not a fan of reading from the phone. However, I have no printer, so I have to do that. Okay, so Hiram, I met Hiram during the lockdown, in another country, I think. I'm not sure which one. I think may have been Ireland, but we met during the lockdown, and Hiram has introduced me to a whole new world of ways of using poetry. And Hiram, I talk about you everywhere I go. I talk about the way that you want to use poetry to raise money to feed the world. So I've talked to a few lobstermen and a few growers, and I'm on it. I have another idea, so we'll talk. Anyway, so let me tell you a little bit about Hiram Larew. Hiram guided U.S. government food security programs during his career. His most recent collection of poems, and I love the title of this, Hiram, because you are a master of mystery, Patchy Ways, was released by Cyberwit Press in 2023. His poems have appeared in recent issues of Poetry South, Iowa Review, Poetry Scotland's Gallus. Did I get it right?
You did.
Okay, and Contemporary American Voices, and have been nominated for 4 National Pushcart Awards. He's received support from Arts Council and food banks, as well as from the United Nations and Feed the Children for his Poetry X Hunger, which you should all be writing down, poetryxhunger.com, and submit to, an initiative that is bringing a world of poets to the anti-hunger cause. And he founded the Voices of Woodlawn, a powerful program of poetry, music, and art that explores America's tragic history and legacy of slavery. Speak English, Linda. Hiram Larew is a courtesy faculty at 5 U.S. universities, is a former member of the Folgers Shakespeare Library's Poetry Board, and serves as the poetry consultant to WBJC FM Classical Radio in Baltimore, Maryland. He lives in Maryland, USA. Hiram, I am so pleased to introduce you, and this is just a little fun fact. We were in Sedgwick, Maine, a couple of days ago, and the guy who started the Pushcart Prize has the smallest bookstore in the world, and I went there and took a picture and bought a Pushcart book. So I just want you to know I made it to the roots.
There you go. There you go. I didn't even realize that such a place existed. So
Oh, well, I don't post pictures when I'm traveling, but don't worry, it'll show up.
great.
So I'm going to begin with our feature, Hiram. I know you guys know it's a family-friendly venue. And I'm also going to say that after I will be the last reader, and then Hiram will do an encore. So we follow the feature with an open mic, and then the encore, and then what have you. So let the fun begin. Hiram Larew.
Thank you, Linda. First and foremost, certainly want to thank Linda Trott-Dickman and David Dickman for hosting this evening's session, and to all of you for being here. I'm really looking forward to hearing as many of you who want to read in the open mic. I plan to present 5 poems. One of them I'm going to present twice, and I'll explain that in just a minute. And then I'll probably take a break in the middle of the poems for a public service announcement. And the only other thing I'll say about these poems is that they are pretty much all what I call winking, a little bit of a wink. Most have appeared in journals, and of course, I'm very grateful to the editors of those publications for providing page space for them. I'm going to share this first poem twice. First, I'm going to read it. It's a love, love, love poem. It's titled Clatter. Love me in the very same way that the word unbeknownst sounds in midair. Yes. Or just like how spires climb to the very top. And then even beyond soap's slip or noon's drift, and as far as puddles can jump, love to love me like that. And love me as if handshakes were grins, or as when echoes find their tunnel. Love me like those birds that love diving and corners, or just like sunlight is love as it teases the cupboards. Love me in all those ways and more. And with sashes open, love me now, but also then, and as much as when lunch is served, with all of that back and forth and clatter. Yes, love me as surely as cups that will spill. Or this love with nights excel when listening turns to dreams. Love me like the swirling din within the word abound. So now I'd like to share
Wow.
a special video of that poem. I think I'm hearing a little echo, so I don't know if folks would be willing to mute themselves, but that might help. I'm not sure. So now I'd like to share a special video. Special, I think, because it comes from Zimbabwe. I've been fortunate enough to cheer on a journal that several young Zimbabwean poets have created called The Sailor's Review, founded by Taku Chikepi. And in this video, one of those poet sailors, a woman named Dr. Tembi Tanya, reads this poem I just presented to you, Clatter, in her beautiful accent. If you'd like to hear her read the poem in her native language, Shona, just check out her name, Dr. Tembi, Thembi, on YouTube. So here's Dr. Tembi introducing herself and then reading Clatter. And give me just a second to cue it up here. I believe this is it. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, this is Dr. Tembi. You know what? I better go back and make sure, sorry about that. I better make sure that I allowed share screen to offer the sound. Yeah. Didn't do that. Okay, now. So here we go. Dr. Tembi reading Clatter.
This is Dr. Tembitanya, and I'll be reading the poem titled Clutter by Dr. Hiram Larew. Love me in the very same way that the word unbeknownst sounds in mid-air. Yes, oh, just like how spires climb to the very top. And then, even beyond soap sleep or noon's drift, and as far as poodles can jump, love to love me like that. And love me as if handshakes were greens, or as when echoes find their tunnel. Love me like those birds that love diving and corners, or just like sunlight is love as it teases the cupboards. Love me in all those ways and more, and with the sashes open. Love me now, but also then, and as much as when lunch is served. With all of that back and forth and clatter. Yes, love me as surely as cups that will spill. Or then above, with nights excel, when listening turns to dreams. Love me like the swelling din within the word abound. Thank you.
That was Dr. Tembi. I just love listening to her in that beautiful Zimbabwean accent, reading that poem. So the next poem is all about my growing respect for mistakes. It's titled Wrong Things. And to add a bit of spice to it, the UK's musician Warwick Jones composed and performs the accompanying guitar music on this recording of Wrong Things. Give me just a second again to cue it up here for us. You won't see much of a picture here, just the audio recording playing back. Wrong Things. I need to listen more to wrong things. Yes, I need to let talk that's hard get close to me. I need to believe in the truth of burned up dinners and take lessons from dogs that sneak by with ticks. In fact, the only way I'll learn probably is from an animal that's hurt, or from a kid who's shaky scared. Yes, the hollow sounds they make turn my shivers into wisdom. So with all of that in mind, I think I'll turn my back on the surest things in life, because it seems along comes a mistake or bams of angry lightning, and what had been neat and locked down tight splits apart, wide open, all at once, with concerns and revelations. Well, clearly that was not the recording with Warwick Jones. What I'll try to do is dig that recording up of Warwick's playing and maybe play it for the encore. I apologize about that. but he does a wonderful job, trust me, and hopefully I'll be able to find that and play it back for you. And so here's a interrupted timeout for a public service announcement. Some of you have heard about and even shared your poetry with Poetry X Hunger. It's an initiative that I founded a few years back that's fighting hunger with poetry written by poets from around the world. And I'd say right now we're kind of cooking with gas, and I want to prove it to you. Hang tight, and I'll share with you one piece of evidence in just a moment that I think is pretty compelling evidence that we're doing a lot of kind of interesting things. But let me say that Poetry X Hunger's last few months have been pretty special. For example, we turned poetry into food. We used poetry and artwork that was created in response to some of those poems to raise more than $12,000 last year for anti-hunger organizations in the US and overseas. And one of the Poetry X Hunger poems was picked up recently and used by a composer as the lyric for a new musical composition with a string quartet and chorale. Very moving. And the poem by Lady Di Beverly is focused on food waste. Go figure, a musical composition of a poem focused on food waste. And here's yet another bit of proof that we're using poetry to fight hunger. It's a 1-minute YouTube public service announcement produced by Feed the Children that uses a Poetry X Hunger poem, Enough. The poem's title is Enough, by Josephine Larew in Canada. The poem has now been viewed by 125,000 viewers on YouTube, and it has received recently 5 Telly Awards, the national awards for videography. The PSA is titled "If Words Were Enough," and let me cue it up for you here. So this is a 1-minute video with Josephine Loray's poem, Enough.
If words were enough, I would sate your hunger. I would build for you a well, ever filled with water clean. I would work alongside as you till the field. Watch hope emerge green from the brown earth. If words were enough, I would end our misery. Watch each child of yours grow strong and true. Teach them to read and to write and to sing, so that their voices be forgotten nevermore. If words were enough, I would help you bear your burden, bring healing to your wounds, end strife. See beyond the lines on a map, beyond color, and you would know you are my sister, my brother, my child. If words were enough. If words were enough, I would sate your hunger. I would build for you a well, ever filled with water clean. I would work alongside as you till the field. Watch hope emerge green from the brown earth.
Sorry about that. So that's a 1-minute, what is called a public service announcement that was produced by Feed the Children that used, I think, a very powerful poem, combined it with videography and music to produce a well-viewed message about hunger. So bottom line there is, if you're interested, please consider submitting a poem or two to Poetry X Hunger. The website is very easy. It's poetryx, the letter X, poetryxhunger.com. And up on the front page in the right-hand corner, there's a menu option with submission guidelines. So the last two poems, I thought I might share screen because I just thought you might find it useful, helpful to see them in text. So let me do that here. This one is titled Tangled, and it's one of these poems that I call kind of a wink poem. Tangled. There are just too many worlds out there. One's as bald as buzzards, and others all tangled up down in vines. Most are as cold as peaks of clouds, or as orange as blue can be some mornings. Yes, there are too many worlds calling, with every see you later waving, but that never come again, or with love like straw pitched up in the wind. And there are too many worlds warning, with wasps swarming or scissors pointing, and with sirens lighting the way at night. Sometimes overall, there are just too many worlds trying, with trees begging the sky, or peaches desperate to find cream, or even more than that, with a gush that just won't stop gushing. Why? And the last poem, as you see here, my notes, it's all about gratitude. It's titled Wilt or Stray. I am incredibly lucky. Even this haze knows it. Even my useless gaze says so in every way. To be where I am now, living like this, is like cherries on a branch. In fact, I'm not nearly grateful enough for this mud and for its reasons. Not thankful enough for fences down or kinked hoses. No, I don't deserve porches. In fact, I need to tip my hat in love and honor to every buzzing swarm that's coming at me, to any wilt or stray. And I should surely thank my lucky stars, my blessings, for what last night had its way with the row of beans out back in the garden. So thank you, folks, very much for bearing with my technology, switching back and forth, but I really appreciate it. I'll turn it back over to you, Linda.
Thank you so much, Hiram, and thank you for, in the mere act of your reading your poems, stretching us and encouraging us not only to use our poetry for the good, but as poets, you stretch, I can't speak for everybody else, but you certainly stretch me. And as the interviewer at the Library of Congress said, you trust your reader. And it's not the first time I've said it, and it's not the last time I'll say it. Because when you trust your reader, you give me permission to make things a little bit less obvious and still try to bring it out. So thank you so very much for your beautiful work. I'm going to start the open mic now, and I'm going to change. No, I'm going to leave the view. So Kelly Powell, you are up next. Literally.
How do I get off? I have to turn the air conditioner off. This is very loud. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello. The pizza guy was coming. I was muted when everyone was chatting earlier, but so hello. Thank you, Hiram. That was very moving and very generous with the hunger. I did write it down. So I wrote this earlier today. I had to handwrite it out because I can't read off my phone. Sorry, I'm just going on. I'm in a Pompeii kind of place. So it's just called Pompeii. Lovers entwined forever, set in ash. A mother protecting a child. A baker and his bread. A fresco of the ordinary for rich and poor alike. A villa and a hovel preserved in the architecture of life. And you on the ground crawling to the window, your fate written by household gods and the archaeology of dreams. In the brothel and the temple of Venus turned to rubble long before the mountain burst her seams, turning life to ash in a moment. How everything can change, for better or for worse, caught in the act of living, breathing, loving, all your cares wiped away, burned or seared into the carpet. Empires rising and falling, children crying above the rubble, the appetite of the mountain still lingering. Thanks. Oh, I can't hear anybody.
It's because I'm trying to save bandwidth, be respectful, and do things. But Kelly, thank you so much. That's a subject that has fascinated me since I was a very little girl. Just not believe
Haunting.
how quickly life can end and in what conditions one is in when it ends. Just unbelievable. Thank you so much. Let's see, Miss Jane Wyman, you are up next.
I hope my voice holds out. Dear God, as I kneel at your altar and the waves flow over me, waiting for your restoration, I see you standing with your palette and brush in hand, painting all the beautiful scenery. The waves keep flowing. The sky is painted a magnificent blue. White clouds go passing by. And I quietly wait for your hand in mine. As I kneel at your altar and the waves pass over me, suddenly I see a rainbow in front of me, and I know I have held God's hand.
Beautiful job. So proud. Good job, Jane. That was excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. JG, you are up next. And JR, you are on deck, as they say in the trade.
I'm up or I'm on deck?
You're on.
Okay, I'm audible, right? Well, obviously you answered me.
Yeah, it's possible that you are audible.
Okay, let's see. In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alph the sacred river ran through caverns measureless to man, down to a sunless sea, So twice 5 miles of fertile ground with walls and towers was girdled round, and there were gardens bright with sinuous rills where blossomed many an incense-bearing tree, and here were forests ancient as the hills, enfolding sunny spots of greenery. But oh, that deep romantic chasm which slanted down the green hill athwart the sea-dun cover, a savage place, as holy and enchanted as air beneath the waning moon was haunted by a woman wailing for her demon lover. And from this chasm with ceaseless turmoil seething, as if this earth in fast thick pants were breathing, a mighty fountain momently was forced, amid whose swift half-intermitted burst huge fragments vaulted like rebounding hail, or chappy grain beneath the thresher's flail. Amid these dancing rocks at once and ever it flung up momently the sacred river. 5 miles meandering with amazing motion through wood and dale, the sacred river ran, and reached the caverns measureless to man, and sank in tumult to a lifeless ocean. And mid this tumult, Kubla heard from far ancestral voices prophesying war. The shadow of the dome of pleasure floated midway on the waves, where was heard the mingled measure from the fountain in the caves. It was a miracle of rare device, a sunny pleasure dome with caves of ice. The damsel with a dulcimer in a vision once I saw. It was an Abyssinian maid, and on her dulcimer she played, singing of Mount Abora. Could I revive within me her symphony and song? To such deep delight would win me that with music loud and long I would build that dome in air, that sunny dome, those caves of ice, and all who heard should see them there, and all should cry, beware, beware. His flashing eyes, his floating hair, weave a circle round him thrice, and close your eyes with holy dread, for he on honeydew hath fed, and drunk the milk of paradise. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay, Miss JR, you are up next, and David Dickman, you are on deck.
Super. Thank you, Hiram. Not only for your heart spilled out on the page, and I love being able to read them and see them, but sharing your time and space for your passion and your cause. Wonderful.
Thanks, Judy.
Thank you. So I'm celebrating a new book, something totally different than anything I've done before. And I've got bushels of gratitude for Linda, because she was one of my find all those nasty typo readers, because the book would have been a mess otherwise. In short, every Tuesday, I write a poem on a prompt from contributions from all of my Farmingdale members, throw everything together in a poem in an hour or two. And this started with the pandemic. So these are poems from May of 20 through December of 21. And so it's not a tiny book, it's 178 pages. So I'm going to ask Hiram to pick a number. We're going to play poetry roulette. I'm going to see how that'll work with this book. I don't really know, but if you pick a number from 9 to 178.
72.
Okay, let's see what we've got. Okay. This sparks a song in my head every single time I think of it. So anyway. Pretty Flamingo. Sky painted pink as Easter tulips waves me from a dream where I am living it up in Barbie's dream house. Pink carpets, kitchen, bathtub sheets, pink clothes and shoes, pink pinky rings, Pepto-Bismol pink everywhere. She even has a pink belt in Taekwondo. Really. I ran out to her Corvette to get away from it all. Although the car is pink, I feel like Shirley Muldowney drag racing up and down Main Street somewhere. I'm not Barbie. Maybe house sitting while she and Ken go somewhere blue or green or both, and who could blame them? I fall back asleep while Dawn brushed in fuchsia hot pink, ribbons of magenta, and I turn over, one eye trying to focus on why people are calling me Lee and Carruthers. What dream am I waking from, running from a pink panther dressed in camo who tiptoes through my dream, leaves the scene of a murder, the detective's words ringing in my head as the bullet exits the commie pinko tanko skull. It makes what the snipers call the pink mist. I scramble out of bed and into the kitchen. No coffee, no orange juice, just a glass of pink lemonade and a pink grapefruit to sponge away the latest dream. Birdsong catches my attention. I go out the back door. Heavy scented garden blooms refresh me. Bubblegum pink carnations and bluish pink roses, elegant and graceful. Pink geraniums bright in the morning. A garden full of flamingos in pretty poses. Tickle me posy pink to be in the moment. I run my pinky lipstick finger across my lips and taste fresh watermelon. Pinky toes wiggle in delight as though through Bermuda beach sand. My puppy scratches to be let out and he covers my face with pink tongue love. His pink nose and soft underbelly, the palest pink cuteness. The velvet pink pads of his feet running circles around my heart. I get through my day without a hitch. No pinkies try to take over the world by escaping from my new shoes. I savor salmon for dinner, a glass of chilled blush rosé, and I'm in the pink, pretty in pink, a cup of rosé tea in a china cup, flamingo, dusty sunset to end a day, pinky promise, wonderful. And I want to thank Pat Beach, Bonnie Campbell, Rick Christensen, Pat Cusack, Megan Dausch, Linda Trop Dickman, Joe D, Dylan Ferraro, Maureen Hazik, Spizak, Denise Kalanovic, Myra Levine, R.I.P., Mike O'Keefe, Mariana Orso, Phyllis Willis, Jim Romano, Rebecca Thompson, Mary Toohey, and Margaret. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for all the other thank yous. I would like to now introduce my award-winning poetry husband, David Dickman. And I'm going to let him take this seat.
Oh, how unique. Thank you, dear. Yes, my first place winning poem from the Performance Poets Association 2024. Yes. As autumn fades, seasonal changes. The battle for fallen leaves is over. The reservoirs of summer heat are lost. Angry autumn tempests beat the clover. All weeds and grasses yield to frequent frosts. Now the sun in full retreat abandons the fields and forests, falling nearly mute. Brittle stems and flowers, feeble stand-ins for ample harvest of ripe grains and fruit. With longer nights, we cannot fail to gaze on dance of moon and stars across the sky. So cold and clear, bereft of summer's haze, Orion bends his bow to our mind's eye. Even in the depths of winter's starkness, light-filled celebrations blunt the darkness. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. John Todris, you are up next, followed by Elizabeth of Hobbiton.
Actually, Elizabeth is going to go first. She'll read a poem and then we'll do something of mine together. And I want to just say it's always a pleasure to be here. It's been a long time, but it's great being back here. You do a great job. All right.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much.
Want to read, Liz?
Yes, I'm going to read a poem. Let's see. This one. Okay, you guys can see the screen, right?
Yep.
Okay, it's titled It's Been Years. It's been years since I've seen the ocean. Walking on grainy, dry sand, I would gaze out over the water, crests rising their frothy maned heads before heaving themselves forward, body slamming hard, wet sand. It's been years since I've seen the ocean. Sifting through shifting, shallow waters, I'd find mole crabs and tiny clams. Further out, I'd reach down to pull up a mass of seaweed and bring it back to shore. Once there, I'd pull it apart to find baby crabs and tiny shrimp. Once I even found a seahorse who wrapped his tail around my pinky finger. It's been years since I've seen the ocean. Too many since feeling the rays hold my upper arms in warm embrace, whispering to me in the cleansing wind, "Too many years. Welcome back home."
It's good.
Yes, it is good.
And next, Elizabeth will be sitting here, but I'm just going to introduce this. This month is June. It's still the month where people get married and supposedly love one another. So this is a love song, and that I wrote actually 40 years ago. I couldn't believe it when I looked at it and we pulled it out. It is dealing with not so much emotional love, but a little bit of physical stuff too. So here we go. Let me get over to the piano.
Yeah, he's the key player in all this.
Literally.
I want to recall when I met you. I see you coming into my view. Real good looks and a smile. I was in love. Heaven knew it was true. Taste the wine and it's hard to drink the water. And the taste of you is always new. You did me a favor, I savored the flavor of your wonderful lips. Now each time you're near, you clearly sense sensations and sips. Taste the wine and it's hard to drink the water. And the taste of you is always new. Taste the wine and it's hard to drink the water. And the taste of you is always new. It's funny when sunny days roll in, I just can't remember the rain. When I'm with you, lightning strikes my heart, bright eternal flame. Taste the wine and it's hard to drink the water. And the taste of you is always new. Taste the wine and it's hard to drink the water. And the taste of you is always new. Thank you. Elegant Ivory.
Yes. Oh, yes. Good player. Thank you so much, sir. It was lovely to hear you guys.
It's a pleasure to be back, believe me.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, do you have a poem for us?
I do.
Yay, you look great. Nice to see you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm a year older than I was. Okay, so thank you, Linda, and thank you, Hiram, for that wonderful reading. This poem is called Falling from America, and to quote Neil Young, it's guaranteed to bring you right down. Victor and daughter Sasha had only each other from the time her mother left them to their desperate flight from Russia. He was out of work, depressed, a hard drinker, and with his 10-year-old at his side, he came to New York City, believing in the promise. But too many empty vodka bottles got them kicked out of the boarding house. They landed in a crowded downtown shelter, sharing a small room with each other and a bathroom with 40 strangers. After 7 weeks of close summer heat, the clenched fist cries of all those broken lives pummeled him to the edge and out the window of that 10 by 10 fourth floor America. Maybe he chose to take her with him, or perhaps she tried to stop him. But in that final moment, they fell together.
Such a story I have for you, but not tonight. Thank you so much, Bruce. Emily Vargas Barron, would you like to read? Or are you here to observe our friend Hiram?
Emily is a friend from my work life. She helps guide programs for young learners and readers around the world. And she's also a poet, but she tends to be kind of shy. So I don't know if she's here to read or not.
Okay, well, okay, Emily, if you would like to read, you certainly may. And I'm going to go to the next reader. Oh, are you unmuting? Yay!
I just wanted to thank you very much and say how much I'm enjoying the evening. This is great to be with you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're always welcome. Okay, Catrice Greer, are you also a friend of Hiram's that is here to?
She's a friend of Hiram, and it's so great to have her here. I'm hoping she'll read a poem.
Hi everybody. I am here. I would love to do a poem. Is it possible to come back to me?
Yes, it is. I'm gonna
Thank
read next, and then you'll be the last.
That'll be great. Thank you
Okay.
for the invitation, and thank you, Hiram, for having me. I missed your poetry, but since you're offering the invitation, I don't want to be rude. Thank you.
Okay, so this is called, hang on, I just want to make sure that all my things are running. Okay. This is
I'm going to
called,
introduce Linda, if I may.
oh,
Please help welcome a first place winner who tied with her husband for first place in a poetry contest. First place winner, Linda Trottick.
thank you so much, Judy. Wow. I love it. This is called There Is No Set Recipe for Minestrone for John R. There was the curly hair pasta with tailored ridges, vegetables from every season, fava beans, onion, celery reposing in the hot broth. Set on top of the to-go container, knots warm and garlicky, a brown paper bag protecting the treasure. Just aside, a veteran healing from oh so many wars, picking up the bill. Sometimes kindness wears a baseball cap labeled Vietnam. Yes, today I had lunch with my past. Thank you. Okay, so Catrice, you are up next, and then Hiram.
Patrice is muted.
But I didn't mute her, so let's see if I can.
I couldn't
Oh.
connect my device, so
Okay.
I'll just do it that way. I can hear you for a moment. Okay. Well, I'm going to do, since music is allowed, I'm going to do a song, if that's okay. It's sort of half poetry, half music, if that's all right.
That's fine.
Okay, it's called The Myrrh Song. And I forget which is it if you're doing music, original sound for musicians on or off.
Sound's got to be on,
Okay.
or else we can't hear you.
Okay, good enough. Thank you. All right.
You're welcome.
She was unlike the others. She did not lure them in. Their wild-eyed, fallen overboard distress, with her barnacle-encrusted teeth, and her sonar song rippling a watery echo, a call and a response. Theirs, a siren song. Which way shall you go, my love? Which way shall you go, my love? Here, come, come. Her voice echoes in the shadows. This way, come, come. I shall take you home. I shall take you home. Where love is, where love is, where love is. Shells braided in her seaweed hairs, coral necklace laced, a signpost of safety for them to see. In the corners of their closed spirit eyes when they fall overboard, lost in the deep waters, drifting, looking for an anchor, a portal, a cosmic door to Elysium, a place of peace on a current. Fishy-tailed, her scales breathing kaleidoscope rainbows, she led the lost into deeper dry-mouthed caves, unwatered, to save them in the void of the dead spaces. Their spinning afloat cocooned in her call, lulling them to their funerary, a sandy bottom floor, their watery rest. Leagues under playing dolphins, leagues under manatees, tucked under the living dark. A dream, a dream. Thank you.
I figured it out, Catrice. I know why we can't see you. Because you're a mermaid. That was amazing. Amazing. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank
Oh,
you.
no,
I'm so
thank
excited to
you.
hear everybody's poetry.
It's
Thank
so
you.
glad that Hiram invited you. Thank you, Hiram.
Thank
Speaking
you,
of
Hiram.
Hiram,
Much love to you, Hiram.
Thank you. Well,
it's your turn, sir.
great. Well, I am still kind of back in the song and the poem. Catrice, that was just remarkable, wonderful, and all the open mics I've enjoyed. My ears are grinning, I'll put it that way. So I really appreciate everyone sharing this evening. I'll finish with a poem that has a stitch in it about hunger. It's a love poem of place, of place. I was lucky enough a few years back, before the pandemic, to travel to Ireland and write at a writer cottage on what's called Achill Island, which is on the northwest coast, off of the northwest coast of Ireland. An amazing place, an amazing time. In order to get to Achill Island, you have to cross from mainland Ireland across Achill Sound. The only other thing I'll say about the poem is that the Irish potato famine occurred from 1845 to 1849. The poem is titled Achill Sound. When the roads curve like sound and dip as if lifting to bow, whenever all thoughts round or cluster, or when hearts call down, is Ireland. And as rich when poor was, or as wise as bare heads in snow seemed, and as twigs so frail broke into song, and as true as any blight or potato could be, was Ireland. So when sand laps the senses, or salt drips the edges as dreams, whenever hope streams through such heavens, and moss comes home, or hearts beam down, is Ireland. Thank you so much, Linda
Thank you.
Dickman.
Thank you so much, Hiram. And that was incredible as usual. I know you don't probably think you're incredibly usually, but I really admire your work. I also I'm really glad you brought your friends, and I hope that everyone is able to come back another time. In the next 2 months, Zilka Joseph will be joining us from, I think she's from Michigan, but I met her at Pramila Venkateswaran's Indian diaspora poetry group, and she's amazing. And then Lady Di is going to be a feature, I think, the month after, but I'm not, I have to check my calendar, which is not available to me right now. But I hope you all come back, and I hope we see you, those of you who can be there in person on July 14th at 1 o'clock, to experience the official grand opening of the Northport Village Poetry Path. So it's sponsored by Northport Arts Coalition. And I thank you all so much. Does anybody else have anything they need to say?
Yes, next month, is it going to be virtual or live?
We are live next month.
Okay.
Every June has been virtual for a while because the teacher and me took off right after school and was gone. So I have been, I take off and I'm gone for the month, for June. So we will be live and virtual next month.
In person.
Yes.
Okay.
So everybody have a great evening, and Catrice, it's nice to see your face, and I hope to see it again.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Bye, thank you.
Bye, a pleasure to meet you. Bravo, Hiram.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah.